Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I actually wanted to show you the process of a commissioned portrait I've painted lately. And yesterday it was the third session, but it didn't go well at all. I was struggling with an eye and I was struggling so long that I didn't have time to paint the hands and the background, and it was totally awful. So I thought, what can I show everyone if I don't have this video? And that's why I quickly painted a daffodil study, and that's the demo for today. Now there's actually a bit of a background story to this demo, because I think almost exactly a year ago I taught 2 workshops about flower painting, and in these workshops I always make several still lifes for my students, and one of these still lifes was a bunch of daffodils in a vase. And in these lessons I always give a demonstration, but I can't show everyone how to paint all the flowers, so I chose to paint the anemones, the red ones and the purple and the white ones, but I didn't have time to paint the daffodils. So it's a bit late, but dear students, here is the demonstration of the daffodils. I hope you enjoy watching. Okay everyone, let's go. Here you see me drawing a composition sketch, which I always do before I start to paint. Why? Well, because I have to make important decisions, such as how I'm going to frame my subject, where the focal point should be, what the tonal relations are, and most importantly, I try to capture what I think is the essence of my subject. That's because one-time painting, I can easily get lost while mixing colors and adding lots of details, and it helps having a sketch as well as a kind of reminder of what my first impression was. I'll probably do a video about the making of composition sketch, but if you already want to know more, you should check out my blog, where I've written a very long blog post about this subject. Anyway, here you see I've chosen an unusual composition since I've cut off the upper part of the daffodils. I thought the diagonals within the still life would become more pronounced by doing so, and even though it looks a bit weird with the shaky lines in the sketch, I think it will look well with a clean line in the final work. So when starting this setup, I used diluted oils in a grayish color to place the most important directional lines of the drawing subject, which is to capture the essential angles. I'm using straight lines because they give my drawing more strength, and they give me strength as well, since they make it easier for me to measure angles and to get the proportions right. You can read more about this in my blog post about directional lines, which is part of the series called A New Way of Looking, in which I explain how I learned appreciating the abstract structure of reality. Now, in this stage, I am not adding much detail, because I will soon throw tons of oils on my panel, and consequently most of the drawing will disappear anyway. When I'm satisfied with the lines, I start adding the most vibrant colors, which are usually the easiest to mix, such as the bright yellow in heart of the daffodils and the blue of the blue cloth, which is nothing more than ultramarine with titanium white and a touch of alizarin. By starting with the easiest colors, I am creating a good reference for the more difficult colors to come. After the blue, I'm painting the brown of the table. I know it's not really the most vibrant color, but it is a very big block, so it should be done in an early stage. The aim is to work towards the composition as drawn in a small sketch, and for that, all the white of the panel should be gone. To connect the brown color of the table with the upper part of the painting, I look for similar hues within the daffodils and the glass jar. And to connect the blue cloth with the bottom of the composition, I add a hint of blue in the table block. I'm afraid you can't really see it because of the reflection of the oils, but you will notice in the final shot, I hope. Another important element in the painting are the vertical greens of the flowers. I try to simplify the stalks by choosing 2 general colors for the part above the water and 2 for the part that's underwater. Well, to start with anyway. You people asked me to explain what my thoughts are during the painting process. So I'm doing that now, but I find it very hard because usually when I'm teaching, I give a demonstration so I don't have to talk, but I can just show what my technique is. And well, now I am struggling finding the words to explain what my thoughts were during the process. To get an illusion of glass, I carefully paint the surface of the water, which is lighter than the underwater part and less saturated than the stalks. Next, some reflections in the glass. Students often think that painting glass is the hardest thing. That's because they try to paint something that's almost not there. After all, glass is transparent. The trick is not to think too much about it and just paint what's behind it, and then add a few subtle reflections and maybe a highlight if it's there. But don't exaggerate, please. What often happens is that people try to paint glass as a kind of veil. But that obviously doesn't work except when the glass isn't 100% transparent. But it is in this case. Here I'm losing myself in all the details in the glass, where I should have painted the petals of daffodils first. So fortunately I'm doing that now. As I still have some green on my brush, I fill in the last unpainted parts of the painting, which are the shadows of the trumpets of the daffodils and the petals, both on the green spectrum of yellow. I carefully mix my colors because the yellow petals must not compete with the trumpet of the daffodils. That's very important. Now, you can't really see it in the video, but during the entire painting process, I'm holding an old cloth in my left hand, with which I wipe my brush to keep it clean at all times. Sometimes, if the brush is too dirty, I use some Gamsol to clean it, but it isn't always necessary as long as I make sure that there is a lot of paint on the brush when I'm going to place my next brush stroke. A dirty brush can ruin your painting, and you want your colors to be nice and clean. Who wants some muddy daffodils, right? I'm always paying a lot of attention to my colors. I want them to be vibrant at all times. And the thing I see a lot in my lessons is that students struggle keeping their colors clean. That's why I'm telling you about this old cloth. It is very important if you don't want a muddy painting. So as almost all of the white parts of the panel are gone, it is now time for refining all those rough color blocks. And as you can see, the 3 daffodils on a table are very shabby. They truly look terrible, like dead canaries. But I can easily sharpen the contour by adding some dark shadows on the table. So you mustn't worry about such things if you are painting. The most important thing is that the colors and the values are correctly placed. And if a line is not as subtle as you would like, then that's not a big problem. You can solve it easily. Well, after adding more midtones and subtle colors in order to create a unity or harmony, my daffodil sketch is almost finished. I could go on to refine more and more, but this piece was meant to be a study. I painted it in 2 hours, and I think I've got the character of the flowers right. So I hope you enjoyed watching. That's it for today, and I very much hope to see you next time. Hopefully I will have finished my commissioned portrait, and so you will see something entirely different. Bye!